Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Danganronpa. Let's continue. So we're in chapter 2 now, so we can look all over the place and get nice coins. We're supposed to be looking for Byakuya, but in all honesty, he's such a jerk. Finding him isn't even a high priority, in my opinion. I think we probably had already looked all over here, but uh, we'll do this again. The problem certainly comes down to a lot of this gameplay now at this point is nothing other than just tapping the A button and searching things that we've mostly already seen. At best, we're going to get a slightly new piece of information. Here, the nurse's office is still closed. At worst, all we're going to end up doing is wasting our time. There's nothing in this bathroom. And then once again we can't go in the girls' bathroom. Yeah, we're just trying to like scan things to see if we get another nice coin. And then we'll go to the second floor and we'll scan more things. And we really would only have had to have looked at the map. Unfortunately, this does open up a scenario where you either would need a walkthrough or some real confidence that you'd scanned on everything in a chapter before you could potentially have a scenario where you can jump to the next area. I suppose in a room like this in particular there could be an object of interest like that doesn't get kind of highlighted. See, if nothing's on the screen at all and you go like this, then it doesn't highlight anything or make the sound effect. And these rooms are going to get fairly annoying in the fact that they don't have a great opportunity to travel through them without going through another room. Okay, so if we look on the map now, we have Chihiro and Kyoko, and I've decided I'm just gonna try and, when I have free time, deal with Chihiro and only Chihiro, and hopefully that's right. So we see there's nothing in the gym, so let's go, in the pool, which is above the gym, which is still just ridiculous. Like, if you just look at the ceiling alone there, that it's ridiculous. Would there be anything new to click on up here? Or can we just assume that since I've already clicked on this stuff, I don't need to do it again? I think we can risk missing some nice coins by making that assumption. This room in particular is just so obviously contrived. Door of the girls' locker, I have no way of unlocking it, so I couldn't go in there if I wanted to. Girls' locker room card reader. I'm listed as a male in my e-handbook, so I can't open this door. That's an interesting idea. What part of the e-handbook lists you as a male? I guess maybe something that we don't see on the screen. It appears Byakuya is not here. Since it's morning, I thought he might have gone to the locker room to exercise, but I forgot the girls can't open the boys' locker room door. So, oh yeah, true. I knocked, but nobody answered. I listened for sound of equipment being used, but there's nothing. So these doors aren't soundproof, so he must not be in there. Besides, Byakuya doesn't seem like the type to go sweat it all out this early in the morning. Do you exercise every single morning, Sakura?
Of course.
Of course. If I didn't get my blood pumping early in the morning, it would throw off the rhythm for the entire day. Alright, well, let's go in here and just check. And this is a weird perspective in particular because that door leads to the pool, and then the exit this room, there is no way to click on the door to leave. So there's definitely a visual inconsistency between where you like where the doors to exit are. Yeah. Still not really certain why there's these midpoints per se, and why you can get all the way to this one scene when it would make a lot more sense to not have those midpoints. So you hit B to back out and it asks, then you have to hit B to back out again to leave, then you have to hit B to back out again. And if I was to talk to Sakura, she doesn't say anything different. Alright, so there was relatively little here that I actually didn't click on, but there is definitely some areas that I didn't get to see. So you thought to come here too, huh?
So...
If you think about what Byakuya was so interested in yesterday, you can probably guess where he is, right? Huh? What was Byakuya interested in again? So yeah, he's in the library. He was interested in the library. We didn't even really talk to enough people to get to that point. So yeah. What I'm mostly doing now is just trying to see if there are people in rooms. I'm gonna assume I clicked on everything there. And then the library was here. And then down here, this long hallway. It's creepy. This is a weirdly designed school, and the fact that there seems to be wasted room where you could have put up another wall and made another classroom or some other kind of room. See, that's an example of when the door's here. Like, this wall seems like it's covering something up, but also this whole empty section here is just like an odd place designed to let students gather in groups. And that's one thing I've never seen in Japanese schools, is there's usually not any place to gather in large groups or hang out. That would be counterintuitive to their desires and goals. All the hallways are usually narrow. There's usually windows to the outside on the one side of the hallway, windows into the classroom on the other side of the hallway, and windows to the outside inside the classrooms. So mostly so that they don't have to use as much lights. Seeing all the lights here, and I guess they are just floating orbs instead of light bulbs, really goes to highlight how closing in a school gives it a very like claustrophobic and different feel. Anyways, let's move forward. When I opened the door to the library and looked inside, see, we think he might be dead, but if he is dead, then I will be very shocked, because then that does 100% without question confirm that this game gives you different stories in different orders on different playthroughs, which I'd be very surprised if it could do that. It'd be cool if like the third Danganronpa played that way, but in a weird way, the fact that there is a third Danganronpa almost implies that if they were going to tell different stories, they would do it in just different sequels. They do that in mangas and animes and just have spin-offs and alternate reality versions of stories very often. I cried out in sudden surprise. Byakuya. Of all things I'd imagined, this was definitely wasn't one of them. So he's just sitting there reading he was just sitting there reading a book and drinking something. Which, interesting, of all the rules and regulations you would expect to be added for school rules, I would think the library would say no food and drink inside of it.
Hey, what are you doing?
And we've got like maybe full voice acting here. Does Byakuya always wear glasses? I think he does.
I'm fishing. What does it look like I'm doing? I'm trying to read, so if you could be quiet.
So apparently he's a bookworm.
Oh, sorry. Wait, no! What are you doing here? Everyone's super worried. We've all been looking for you.
Who asked you to do that?
Because we're all supposed to meet up in the morning and eat together. We made a promise.
Did they?
A promise? Can't I get a second's peace and quiet around here?
So this guy doesn't like dealing with people, which honestly this is a better idea, is that if each person took their own little slice of heaven out of the school and didn't interact with each other much, that probably is the better start to the idea of people living longer, because so far it feels like less than a week and one person's already been murdered. Byakuya snapped his book shut and slowly stood up, smooth and silent as a shadow. Yeah, he does wear glasses, but that definitely was differently animated, that scene, and perhaps there is a hint when you see differently animated sections that there's something important to take from each of those scenes. I'm trying really hard not to spoil things, but there is a spoiler even in that hint. Meanwhile, the others must have heard me yell and started showing up one after another. So, not soundproof in the library. Byakuya, so this is where you've been hiding. The heck you doing here, man? We were very concerned. Well, you had no reason to be. I was just reading. I've never read such a coarse novel before, but it might just prove useful at some point.
Well,
What were you reading? A mystery novel.
well.
Wait, so you're gonna tell... So are you gonna use what you're learning in there to betray us? Don't be stupid. Yeah. It's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, what?
Naturally.
If I decide to fight, of course I'll come up with something original. Otherwise, this game of ours would be totally boring, right? Yeah, he almost feels like he's an obsessive person who always must win. You almost would say that gamer, but he doesn't seem like he plays games as much as he is just playing games with people's lives. It's not often you get to take part in such a high-stakes, high-tension activity. So if you're going to do it, you have to make sure it's entertaining. Yeah. If anything, him being the ultimate affluent student, he's basically saying, this is an amazing game of man versus man. Like some of those stories where humans hunt other humans. That does feel like something Byakuya might have been willing to do. His words sent a chill down my spine. There was an undeniable smile on his face as he spoke. He looked like he was actually enjoying himself. enjoying this deranged killing game. What the F do you mean game? That's effed up. But it is a game. It's a game of life or death, which can have only one winner. That's all there is to it. He's right. It's a zero-sum game. Huh? Is that really what a zero-sum game means? I mean, I guess it is. One winner, everyone else loses. Huh?
Are you okay with this?
It's a part of game theory, a mathematical model. See, Celeste being the ultimate gambler has clearly been written into the story to explain these concepts, whereas, frankly, since she doesn't speak too much, in other instances, she probably would do well to not be a character in general. Although I guess it doesn't matter if you're going to lose 2 or 3 or more people each chapter. In game theory, what we are going through now is called a zero-sum game. In this type of game, in order for one person to gain something, another must necessarily lose something. In other words, it is a situation where participants must compete for position or resources.
I see.
You mean like a kind of elimination match?
Actually,
Entrance exams, sports tournaments, job openings, most social interactions fall into this category. Everyone must scramble to obtain something which is limited. For you to succeed, someone else must fail. This also applies to the school life we have been subjected to here. In this case,
okay.
our limited resource is that only one of us can successfully become the Blackened.
So, in other words,
So this game was designed from the beginning to force one of us to try and defeat all the others. That can't be why what they had in mind. This is why adaptation is so cruel or crucial. If those who want to escape war to disappear, there would be no reason to continue to play the game.
what?
But why would I want to stop playing? It's so much fun. He smiled again as he spoke. The smile was filled with evil intent. It twisted his face into something not human. Sounds as if you do not acknowledge even the possibility that you may lose, am I right?
Naturally.
Of course. You do not speak like the others, exactly what I would expect from the Togami heir apparent. It's just normal arrogance, isn't it?
Just a second.
You talk like that, but what if you end up dead?
Not possible.
I won't. It simply is impossible.
Son of a bitch.
Who the F do you think you are? You know, I still can't believe it.
What?
Believe what? That an uneducated, brain-dead, useless piece of garbage like you has survived this long.
Piece of shit.
I'm gonna
Don't
can
make
kill
me
you.
hate myself.
Like I said, I won't die. You keep saying that, but don't bother arguing with him. For him, the concept of losing simply doesn't exist. He is the ultimate affluent progeny, after all. A boy raised to succeed from the day he was born. He considers victory his destiny, and has lived his life accordingly. Tests and challenges are merely ways for him to stand victorious, even if it is a life and death situation. Is that not so, Byakuya? It's weird to have Celeste explain Byakuya so arrogant. At least one of you seems to understand.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's because I am the same as you. Games are meant to be won.
That's enough.
Are you trying to suggest we're on the same level? Close that vulgar mouth of yours.
Oh,
Oh, well, I do apologize. Anyway, let me just say this to all of you. You all need to try harder. If an opponent isn't going to give it their best, where's the fun for me?
no.
That's a terrible way to look at it. We're jumping between everybody talking, which honestly is a lot of these conversations would do better if it stuck with only 2, maybe 3 people in the room having a conversation instead of it desperately trying to remind us that everybody else is in the room. But then since they're murder mysteries, everybody needs to be in the same room so everybody has an alibi in case somebody else dies while they're having this conversation.
What?
It's because
This isn't a game. Our lives are on the line, you know? To kill your own friends is
it's horrific.
it's horrific. Friends? Who decided that? Huh? We're not friends. No, quite the opposite. We're competition. We're enemies. But, you know,
What?
but what? Stop trying to force your contradictions onto me and just accept what I'm telling you.
Come on.
Yes, if you have something to say, say it. Otherwise, keep your mouth closed. Yeah, he's definitely a jerk. ...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And Chihiro is just back to apologizing, which is very Japanese. Hey, poophead, you get off bullying people that can't fight back. You want to try that on me? So you're back to pretending to be friends, huh? And how long do you think that's going to last? F you.
What?
Is that all you can say? How unfortunate you would waste breath on such empty gibberish. Yeah, having somebody cuss so much really, once again, it just makes Mondo an unimportant character that could easily have been cut.
You son of a bitch!
That's it, you're dead. What you probably could have done here easily is, after each death game, introduced at least one, if not 2 or 3 new students to the group, or introduce almost a completely different group. That way, characters that don't need to be involved just aren't involved, and there can be new suspicion added to new people to the group, and certainly suspicion that the group themselves might turn on the new person.
Just a second.
Hold on, just calm down.
Piece of shit!
I am calm. How is this calm? I assume these aren't random catchphrases that they're saying. That would be very bad programming. Anyway, I don't have any intention of working with the rest of you any longer. To cooperate during an elimination game is, well, frankly, it's a waste of time, and I hate wasting my time. Waste of time?
Not possible.
Engaging in friendly group meals is out of the question. Someone could easily poison our food. And I'd rather not become part of the Last Supper just yet. Quit talking like you're in a movie or something. All I'm saying is that ultimately, you're all free to do whatever you want to on your own. Goodbye. Without a second glance, Byakuya left. There wasn't anything we could do to keep him from going. His way of thinking was just beyond anything the rest of us could even comprehend.
But
Was he serious about all that? He was, without a doubt.
don't fuck with me.
Well, F him then.
Maybe.
But what he said, he might not necessarily be wrong. I mean, can you say for sure someone won't poison our food? Hey, come on. You too, Toko?
Anyway.
Well, it's not like anyone would even care if I was gone, right? Actually, I bet you want me gone. You all think I'm disgusting. You know what? Toko is kind of a jerk too, so, I mean, getting rid of her wouldn't be terrible. Although, almost inherently, if you're going to spend the effort to write somebody as being obnoxious and rude, you're probably going to keep them around for a while, at least until there's a good, satisfactory reason to eliminate them. None of us think that. You just think that you don't think that. I know some people like to play the victim, but this is just totally out there. You think I don't know? But I do. You want me gone. And I'm sure the rest of you want the same thing, don't you? Maybe Toko is just incredibly crazy bipolar. That is a possibility. Of course, depictions of mental instability in visual novels tend not to be done particularly accurately, and it wouldn't really serve the story well for her to have an accurate mental disability. It would serve the story a lot better for her to be just a raving lunatic. Ah, hey, Toko, wait. Just let her go. Once she gets like that, there's nothing you can say to bring her back. ... Ultimately, our breakfast meeting came to an end without answering any questions. Everyone headed back to their room. Geez, I'm tired already. But I don't have time to take even one day off. I need to get myself going. So we're back to free time, and there's like no new prompts. So here's what I want to do. Twice now we have been unable to search as thoroughly as I would like for the library. So I want to go back to the library here and search and see what's in the other room. Because all the nice coins certainly would be here. I just didn't click on things, I didn't talk to people. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see, a desk here. There's a thick layer of dust on top of the desk. It looks like the library's been neglected for a pretty long time. On top of that, there isn't the lighting in here kind of bad? There we go. And then we had already clicked on the letter. Let's see, that was the thing that triggered us leaving the library the first time. And there's a book back here on the bookshelf. The shelf is packed tightly with books, but looking at it, the whole thing is incredibly dusty, so dusty I don't even want to bother cleaning it. Now, this isn't really the most full library either. Like, you could easily, I think, read all these books in a lifetime, and there's certainly not any accounting for taste. If you don't like some of the books, or you only like a small selection of the books, you're gonna run out of reading material. Also, if this was a Japanese library, you'd almost want to see shelves just full of manga, like, so you could read, say, the entire Dragon Ball run or the entire Sailor Moon run, and that would take up an entire shelf in itself. Or like One Piece as a manga. Shelf is packed tight with books, but I look at the whole thing is incredibly dusty. An extension cord, I guess it's being used to connect to the lamp to the power outlet. But where would you get something like this here in the school? The warehouse, I would assume. And no zoom in here to see what kind of outlet it is. So, yeah. So it's kind of doesn't have to be localized. And we got a nice coin for clicking on the third thing there. Let's go in this door. Hey you. Oh, I can't concentrate with you here. Kindly leave. Alright. ... He seems really focused on that book now. He's not really... Now's not really a good time to talk to him. Alright. So, pretty much what I want to see then is who is here. Chihiro is on this, and I think I'm gonna just spend free time with Chihiro because she had that mystery, or at least a bit of a mystery, about her not wanting to swim. Let's see, who else would even make sense as to somebody I would want to interact with. I mean, Mondo and Sakura is kind of boring. This guy's kind of annoying. Aoi, it seems, I mean, I could. Seems like she's in the pool. So it would be interesting, I guess, to see how they depict her in the pool. Like, if I talk to anybody... Yeah, if I talk to anybody at this point, it is just going to be a choice to hang out with them. So we don't even have to really interact with people. And more people are going to just be spread out in more and more areas. Like, I imagine what we will run into. Oh, she's just over here. So, I guess this might be the reason.
Okay.
That's a quote from the famous baseball player Jackie Robinson. You have to remember that this is just a challenge. We can't get up. Nope. So she's not in the pool swimming. She's just standing next to the pool. And now we can see where two people would be if they are in the pool. I didn't really need to exit there. Celeste, I mean, her being kind of weird with the milk tea might be intriguing. Toko seems to spend almost all of her time in her room. And we've just got to run an experiment here, though. Like, we've got to pick one person and stick with them. And it's not going to be Byakuya. There's literally nobody, like, being depicted at all in the first floor of the school now. Alright, well. So, I'm just going to spend 3 times with Chihiro. And we need to figure out if that on the report card gives us 2 stars and potentially 3 or 4 pages. Although the argument might be to play with 3 random people. And see, I still don't, even though I've seen someone else play this game, I don't remember who the killer is here. So I'm gonna definitely be questioning that. Alright, so then the only question, I suppose, is do we have enough presents to give to her? I think we can risk that. Sigh, ... Oh, Makoto, I didn't realize you were there. Should I try to cheer up Chihiro? Yes.
You're right.
Yeah, I could use a little change of scenery. Do you mind me keeping me company for a while? I spent a nice relaxing time with Chihiro. And Chihiro and I grew a little closer today. Honestly, I feel like you would do better if there were actual conversations here before you just hung out with people. It does kind of feel accurate to a high schooler, though, that you would just hang out with somebody and literally have no conversations and literally not do anything, but just be there with someone, which in a video game perspective is a weird thing. In the real world, just hanging out with people is something that happens a lot and should happen a lot. Just being there is actually often a lot more important than people think. So let's give her a present. It would be ridiculous to not give her a present or give anyone a present. Let's see. Would the G-sick make sense? A cheap watch? Let's see. Krillin camera. Camera invented to take pictures of electric fields surrounding objects. Sadly, there's no electrical fields surrounding objects. That sounds like something that might be something she'd be interested in. Well, the ray gun? High-tech future technology. Fun plane. Maybe that's the one to give to her. Voice changing bow tie. She's the ultimate programmer. I guess I'm gonna go with the fun plane. I am kind of short on gifts that just stick out as being really, really good gifts. And I feel like it may just flip a coin sometimes and decide whether a gift is a good gift or not. You really don't have room here to give bad gifts. Although, if you gave a bad gift and then it gave you a second chance to give a good gift and you just lost that bad gift, that wouldn't be terrible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Makoto. Really, thank you so much. I get the impression that she liked it. That's good. There's still plenty of time left. I can't just sit around. I should head out. Well, that was weird because in this instance, it didn't do anything. So do we have to just work harder? Or do we now have to deal with just more going on? This time they've put a bunch of people on the first floor. Remember, they also said there would be like potential clandestine meetings between other groups that you might overhear, but I haven't seen any of that actually happen. And if that was going to happen, it almost has to happen when there's two people in the room. I guess I'll give her the self-destructing cassette this time.
Huh?
Are you concerned about me? Sorry to make you worry. Should I try and cheer up Chihiro? Yes.
I'm sorry.
Really sorry for worrying you, but I'm happy you're here. Thank you. Took some time to stay with Chihiro. Chihiro and I grew a little closer today. Would you like to give Chihiro a present? Yes. I may have to work our way down to a food item after this. But I'm not gonna give her the G-Slick. So where? Self-destructing cassette. Once you record a message on this, it sets up a chemical reaction that will destroy the tape after a few seconds after it's played. Huh? You're giving this to me? You don't have to make a big fuss over me. Did that mean she liked it? Question mark. I think they pretty much just like it no matter what. Well, I feel like I'm getting screwed over here. Definitely, I feel like we've gotten screwed over in some way, and I just gotta double down on this gamble with every free time option until I at the very least get some ability. Like, you would assume that each character would at the very least give you an ability, not just Sayaka giving us melodious voice. Otherwise, this game is very much confusing me.
This is as such. Soon the doors to the dining hall. Okay then. Sweet dreams.
Standard nighttime announcement. But even though today is over, the game definitely is. How long is this going to keep going? All the stress and anxiety kept me from falling asleep until late in the night. And we've got a Monokuma theater. Like, you kind of need these events to happen because it gets ridiculously repetitive otherwise. Whenever I spot a cute girl, I have a tendency to stare, and there's a mirror in the background, but the mirror is not reflecting the image, it's just showing Monokuma appear and disappear out from the same angles, always white on the left and black on the right. I can't help it, I just gaze with intensity. The other day I rode my bike to the train station.
In the bathroom, just looking at myself in the mirror.
Oh, is Monokuma a cute girl? Is this the mysteries and the hints that we're getting? Is that whoever is controlling Monokuma is a cute girl? Ding dong bing bong.
Good morning,
Go
everyone.
ahead and skip this.
Get ready to
Now, a question here would be, the morning exercises thing. Is Monokuma gonna make us do that every morning? It seems like the answer is no, which is good because I would just waste time. Well, I guess I better head to the dining hall before anyone else. As it is, I don't think there's anything really to do otherwise. Like, had I walked out the door and then started wandering around here, this section in particular is unimportant, and they should have just jumped us to the dining hall. That's really like a small bit of coding and programming to have just jumped you to the dining hall every morning. But is this everyone? It feels a little small. Byakuya and Toko had stormed off yesterday, and it wasn't too surprising they hadn't come today. Even the table looks bigger somehow. I assume that's because 3 people are dead and 2 are abstaining. Yeah, with 5 people missing, I guess it would feel kinda empty. Still, I know Byakuya is whatever, but shouldn't we at least go check on Toko?
Serious?
I vote no, she's super annoying. How can you be so cold? You're like a piece of rock candy.
You hear me?
What? No, rock candy isn't cold, it's sweet. Anyway, Byakuya's the real problem. If we don't keep an eye on him, he might really kill someone. You can see it in his eyes. We've got no choice. Get some rope. We're gonna have to keep him bound and gagged. I think that's going a little overboard. He's right. In this situation, there's nothing scarier than when an ally turns loose cannon. If you're gonna keep him bound and gagged, how long? For the rest of his life? It's just like when we were kids and someone would go crazy at sports days or whatever. I wonder how you would do a class trial if, say, they took Byakuya, tied him up, and then had everybody stab him at the exact same time, so nobody knows who the real killer is. And then I guess maybe you could all vote Byakuya as the killer. Well, I mean, if nobody knows who the real killer is, then they would just vote wrong and all get killed. So I guess that plan falls apart real fast because you kind of have to figure out who the real killer is. It might drive Monokuma crazy, but it would be, again, one of those I Am Spartacus going down swinging scenarios. And that would be a particularly brutal way to go down swinging, just to spit in the eye of Monokuma by killing somebody. It's just like when we were kids and someone would go crazy at a sports day or whatever. What are you talking about? You're gonna use the rope to do tug of war or something, idiot?
It can't be.
I'm not an idiot. You're an idiot. Who are you calling stupid? ... Oh, what's wrong, Chiro? You don't look so great. Oh, I'm just going through a little self-loathing. Huh? Self-loathing? Well, after what Byakuya said to me yesterday, I just got so nervous I locked up. I couldn't say anything. Mondo ended up having to help me out. And even he said I was someone who can't fight back. I hate how weak I am. Ah, I see. So Mondo made you depressed.
What?
What? How's it my fault?
Hey, come on.
I wasn't trying to be mean. Besides, girls are just naturally weak anyway, right? ... Girl. She starts crying. Are you crying? It's because you're screaming like a lunatic. Hick.
Hey, come on.
Hey, come on, don't cry. It's my fault, okay? I won't yell at you anymore. Interesting how we're getting like a steaming effect. Or really? Not sure I can believe that.
Huh?
Just shut up.
What?
I get it. I'll
What?
make you a promise as a man. Promise as a man?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe I mentioned this before, but ever since I was a kid, there was one thing my brother told me over and over again. He said that no matter what, a real man must always keep his promises. That's what he left me. Left you? Oh yeah, my brother's dead. Oh, I see.
That's true.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. Don't want to make all you guys cry.
Yo.
Anyway, so you can trust me when I make that promise. So you don't gotta cry anymore. Mondo all of a sudden is starting to become a real character and interesting. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mondo. Sure. But I still don't like how I am right now. I have to get stronger. If I'm so weak, anything can make me cry. That's not good. Still, don't stress out too much about having to get stronger. Makoto throws in that line of dialogue. No, I won't. I want to get stronger. Maybe I should start working out. In that case, I'd be happy to help you out any time. But then Miss Fujisaki would get smashed into a billion pieces.
Just a second.
If Rumi quit being a speed bump to a real conversation. Shut up, you.
You know?
Oh, finally cracked a smile, huh?
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you. Looks like Chihiro got some life back. Yeah, man. If we keep helping each other like this, we're bound to get out of this crappy place sooner or later. I mean, someday, I'm sure. Still, biggest concern right now is the other two, who never showed up to breakfast. What can I do to try and understand those two better? I guess the game is arguing, okay, what should I do today? The game is making an argument that I should be hanging out with Toko and Byakuya, but I just want to kind of double down on Chihiro. I don't know why I did that. That was pointless. I don't know why I did that. That was pointless. Should just be fast traveling everywhere. It will be slightly faster to run this way. And so we only found really enough coins to either gamble very poorly in the Monokuma machine. So we're pretty much only going to use this at the beginning of each chapter and then never again, because if I go all 8 coins, I'm still below above 50, and that just does not work. And there's kind of obviously not any more Monokuma coins to deal with. There's nobody on floor 1 of the school, and Chihiro is here. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to stupidly double down on Chihiro until we either unlock something and realize that some of these interactions may very well require us to interact with people as many times as was available. So I may have had to have interacted with her the entirety of the game from the beginning at chapter 1 when we got our first free time to unlock all of the abilities, or it might be a case that that there is a new game plus with stats that carry over, and eventually through the 5th or 6th playthrough you start to get to know people better.
Hello there.
Hello there, Makoto. She does seem nicer and happier. How nice of you nice to see you here. Should I hang out with Chihiro? Sure.
Yay!
Hey, I really like talking to you. See, we have grown closer, but Chihiro and I grew a little closer today. Would you like to give her a present? Yes, definitely. Alright. If I give her a mineral water, ideal for the modern on-the-go public unsatisfied with tap water. Some Coke. Sweetness. Unique fragrance. Beauty and wellness. Let's see. I feel like cup noodle might be a good argument. What's the hair clip? Make a girl positively sparkle? Let's try that. Well, I'm sure someone would also appreciate having that more than me. Maybe you should find someone to give it to that can make better use of it. I think I upset her. She probably thinks worse of me now. No. No. What's wrong, Chihiro? Ah, it hurts. Huh. Did you get hurt, Chihiro?
You know?
Oh, well, not really. I got bit by a mosquito last night. A mosquito? That's interesting, because then that does tell you that there are apparently insects that are finding a way in and out of the building. Oh, I figured something serious like that. Something serious had happened, since you were saying how it hurt. I don't know if there are mosquitoes in Japan. You would think if mosquitoes ever made their way to Japan, they would probably thrive pretty well. There's lots of water, swamp, and standing water, so that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I'm not sure they do exist.
Huh?
Oh, did I give you the wrong impression? Sorry. You don't have to apologize. It was my own fault. But you said it hurts. Did it really bite you that hard? Yeah, see, look. She held out her arm. A huge red bump stood out clearly against her pale skin. Holy cow.
What should I do?
It's way past itchy now. It really hurts. But why is it so big? Did it bite you while you were sleeping or something?
You're wrong.
Oh no, I was awake. But you didn't notice? No, I noticed, but what?
You know?
Well, I felt it bite me and I looked down at it. But I didn't do anything. I just sat there and watched it suck my blood. Interesting. Either she's such a wimp that she won't even swat a mosquito, or she enjoys pain. Also, I think it's worth mentioning that mosquitoes tend to inject a drug, so you don't notice that they were biting you until they had already sucked the blood and left, and then it starts to hurt. You just watched it? Why didn't you smack it? That might not be the right response to squash it on your arm. Like, you could do that, but it's gonna be gross.
Huh?
Because that would have killed it, right? Well, yeah, but
You know?
it must have been really hungry to suck that much blood. If it was that hungry, it wouldn't be really sad not to let it have anything. But it's just a mosquito. Mosquitoes are living things too, though. It might have its own little mosquito family. Sorry, I know that's dumb. No, really, you don't have to apologize. But don't go scratching it, okay? That'll just make things worse. But what if it gets itchy so I can't take it? Well, in that case, just take the tip of your fingernail and push it into the bump. That'll help.
Huh?
Wow, I had no idea. Yeah. Yeah, breaking the surface of the skin can certainly lead to infections. I don't know what taking the tip of a fingernail and pushing it into the bump would do. You're so smart, Makoto. As she said that, she smiled like a tiny, cute little animal. I wonder if she does that on purpose. If so, that's a whole other level of scary. But anyway, don't you think it's kind of strange? Huh, what is?
You know?
Well, the school's completely sealed off, right? So how did mosquito get in? Maybe there's somewhere here in the school where big bugs can live and grow. Like some kind of nature-y spot. A naturey place in the school. Well, I can't say for sure that's there or not. Or maybe there's a secret passage somewhere that leads out of the school. A secret passage. Well, even if there's not, I'm sure we'll get out of here somehow. As long as we all work together. It's kind of pointless to sing that song these days. I'm sure we'll be able to get out of here in no time. You're right, working together is super important. Of course, I don't know how I can be useful. I'll probably just weigh you all down. That's not true. It makes me feel way better knowing that you're here to help. There's, I think, something that should be pointed out. For a high school student who is the ultimate programmer, she sure doesn't seem to be really going through any kind of withdrawal from being away from computers and programming. It's been 3 days, certainly, but as somebody who spends a considerable percentage of his life connected to the internet and doing something on the internet, whether it's watching podcasts or YouTube or recording or streaming videos, like the idea of being completely cut off for technology for a few days is pretty much unbearable. And yeah, Chihiro, I mean, she could be the ultimate programmer, but she doesn't strike me as somebody who is ambitious to create things. Like, if she's got ideas and ambitions to create things, as most programmers should have, she must be not telling people about it. She also seems to sleep a normal schedule, which I would say the ultimate programmer almost certainly would sleep very little. Anyways, moving on. That's not true. It makes me feel way better knowing that you are here to help.
Huh?
It does, really? Yep, so let's all do our best.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Makoto. Chihiro's report card has been updated based on your experience with her. So it took 3 interactions. Maximum skill points have increased. Have a look. Hey, look at you go. Once we're all done, I head back to my room for a while. So yeah. We talked to her and we got a max SP 1, but we didn't get a skill. But the first time we talked to Sayaka, we got a skill. I wonder if maybe you just get these skills from specific people, and so there is some way, if you were playing a walkthrough, to talk to specific people and get specific skills that you really not need. Like Robot Jock is also a skill that we got the first time we talked to Leon. Seems weird. It also, maybe the numbering system here means if I had talked to each of these people, it would have been a lot easier than dealing with Chihiro. We've also learned something important here, that you can give bad presents, and that might affect your rewards. Maybe I got a skill +1 because I gave a bad present, and we now know Chihiro does not like girly things. And then they just reset you back to this point, which, like, honestly, I don't see the big benefit of doing that. Like, really. Yeah, it would have been just as easy to leave everybody in the same place and have people move around. We can kind of see now that everybody except for Byakuya, who's just staying in the library always, seems to mostly go into about the same places. Kyoko and Toko are spending a lot of time in their bedrooms. Let's see, is it easier to teleport here than it is to walk to click through the door, go through the transition, didn't just get back over here. So we can give bad interactions. Mondo and Chihiro seem to be interacting a lot, so they're like forming their own relationships, which I'm becoming the third wheel to. What's wrong? Did you need something? Should I hang out with Chihiro? Sure. Let's just want to sit down and talk for a while. I wonder why they're doing laundry so much in the laundry room. It's like, are they doing other people's laundry? Have they decided to assign people laundry duty? Like, how much laundry literally could any of them been doing for 4 days? Although it is worth mentioning that Japanese washing machines in-house, that the clothing laundries are pretty pathetic machines that don't really have dryers, and they have to hang their clothes to dry, and they really only wash maybe a handful of articles of clothing, so it's hardly like you have a big industrial washing machine inside a Japanese house. Now, inside a laundromat, those look like those are pretty industrial washing machines. They could do big loads of clothing, and I could certainly believe the Japanese being anal retentive enough to do laundry and wash their school uniforms like every single day and wear the same uniform every single day, instead of having like 2 or 3 copies of the same uniform to cycle through, or a week's worth of the same uniform. Spent some time with Chihiro. Chihiro and I grew a little closer today. Would you like to give Chihiro a present? Sure. Yep. The good news is we have enough. So, let's see. Let's give the G Slick. Although, frankly, if we had something that already worked, giving the same thing twice kind of wouldn't make sense. So we need to do an experiment here, and we already messed up once. So let's just give her another self-destructing cassette.
Huh?
I can have this? Thank you. This has made me feel a little better. Does that mean she liked it?
Aw.
Sigh. What's wrong? Seemed like a pretty heavy sigh.
You know?
Oh, sorry. It's just everyone else is working so hard to get us out of here, but I'm no help at all. That's not true at all.
But
It's okay, you don't have to try and make me feel better. I know it's the truth. I'm completely useless without a computer in front of me. At least if I were a little stronger or something, then I'd be able to help somehow. Well, now we're getting the point where she's saying, yeah, that she is pretty useless without a computer in front of her. Listen, you'll get your chance. I'm sure there'll be a time when your skills come in handy. So you don't have to worry so much, okay?
Huh?
My skills might come in handy. If I get a chance, I'm gonna work super hard to chip in. When it comes to computers, you can count on me. You're right about that. No matter what anyone might say, you're still the ultimate programmer. Speaking of which, how did you get into programming? Interesting question. Yeah, it is certainly a male-dominated field. Programming is so seeing a female programmer is an outlier. Huh? Well, I mean, I always assumed most programmers were guys, so ... Is it really that weird? No, nothing like that. I was just curious what got you interested in it. I mean, why programming of all things?
You know?
Why? I mean, there isn't much of a reason. I've always been kind of weak, you know? I was never able to run around with my friends or anything. We had a computer at home, so I'd kill time poking around with it. And I found out I really liked it. My dad was a software engineer, and he had a bunch of programs on there that he'd built. I found one of them and started playing around with it, adding stuff here and there. And that is how I ended up making my very first program. Interesting, what kind of program was it? A kind of database software. Database software?
You know?
A user can communicate with it, and it would take the information and find what they were looking for. It was a way of interacting with the computer without having to physically type things out. So basically a artificial intelligence. She said it could understand the user with having to type things out. So that would have to be voice recognition. Interesting that there's a pop-up here, because getting it wrong probably wouldn't really penalize you. Or if it does, that would feel very unfair. Like, we could be save scumming here, I suppose, if we weren't certain, but I can't actually pull up any menu to save scum, so I would have had to save scum before this point. You use voice recognition, is that it? Yep, exactly. You could talk to it, and it could actually talk back. It was a lot of fun. What's the difference between artificial intelligence and voice recognition? Quite a bit, but I would say understanding what you're looking for does veer into the beginnings of being artificial intelligence, whereas voice recognition at its basic form would just be you talking to a computer and then it typing for you. And it talking back is just speech synthesis. It was a lot of fun. It didn't even really sound like me. I would get totally absorbed into talking to it. It was like a kid recording themselves and playing it back again. The key part of the program was getting it to recognize what I was saying. The recognition accuracy was the most important thing. Japanese is kind of hard, so it was pretty challenging. But you were able to do it eventually?
You're right.
Yep, and right around then, my dad found out that I'd messed with the software without permission. I thought I was going to get into so much trouble, but all he said is how impressed he was. The software is able to take natural speech and pull out key search terms to retrieve information. This is getting a little technical. My dad said it worked so well that he was going to change the face of software interaction all over the world. Remember, we flashed back in the prologue and we just saw people typing on a forum. So if this software had been implemented and people were talking to computers and computers were talking back to them, it would be weird that the protagonist character didn't seem to have that software. Although there is a scenario here where I am actually from a very different time than Chihiro Fujisaki is. She could be like 50, 60 years younger than I am, and I've just been asleep or in stasis since the time I entered Hope's Peak Academy. Remember, I did not see anybody else in Hope's Peak Academy when I first walked in and before I passed out. So we have no idea what time it is on the outside world.
Yeah.
The development costs are still pretty expensive, so it hasn't spread that much yet. Oh, okay, well then they can just also explain it away that way. I wonder if we're going to find out that some of her code is being used by Monokuma. Anyway, I've been addicted to programming ever since. I can't tell you how happy it made me to be able to make others happy. It's obvious how much you love computers. You seem to just light up when you start talking about them. Sorry I spent so much time talking about myself. No, I had a lot of fun learning more about you.
Huh?
Really? Yep. I hope you tell me even more next time. Okay, let's hang out again sometime. It's a promise, okay? So we've now got her upgraded. So now we have the skill algorithm. Give yourself a pat in the back, you've earned it. Alright. And back to the room. We're gonna have more free time? Nope. Now nighttime. So, unless we're gonna be given a whole another day of free time, there's every indication that we are going to then we are going to have a murder over the course of the next evening or day. So first time we got max SP +1. Now we have algorithm. We don't know what algorithm really does, but we still don't have a star with her either. So we kind of still have to push forward as much as we think we can. And maybe the star indicates that there's nothing more to work with and you've got your relationship as high as possible. Maybe there isn't a double star scenario. But if that were kind of the case, that it took different levels of hanging out for different people to get to the star level to be maxed out, I would want to almost see a warning before I hung out with somebody who I'd already maxed out the relationship with, and you're getting kind of diminishing returns, certainly, because I've had to hang out with her 3 times to get 2 rewards, whereas I hung out with her twice to get 2 rewards, and Leon once to get 1 reward. I guess I'm feeling a little hungry. I better get something to eat before it's nighttime. Should head to the dining hall, I guess. Alright, so we are now about to trigger something, obviously. And we can't go anywhere else. So we'll leave the area. Still not a way to get into other people's rooms. If I was trying to go here... Yeah, it seems like there's never really going to be an option to do the things you kind of want to do when they want you to do other things. We have Celeste.
Oh.
Well there, good evening. Celeste, what are you up to? Oh, what am I up to? I was simply going for a nice evening stroll. You know, I was thinking about the rooms belonging to everyone who has left us. I would very much like to know what is going on in there, but it seems their doors are locked. It must be another one of Monokuma's little tricks. Sometimes he gets hung up on the weirdest stuff.
I wonder about that.
Do you think so? Seems that it is merely him displaying his passion toward the production of this killing game. ... Anyway, I should resume my excursion. If you have some time, you're free to join me. Oh, that's okay.
I hope you are well.
Yes, very well then. Goodbye. So we bump into her. And here's Chihiro. There is food in here, so... There's food in here, but for now I think I'll just head to the dining hall. Let's talk to Chihiro.
Makoto.
Oh, hi Makoto. I wonder if these single sentences where she says, oh hi, would have been different had I not spent so much time hanging out with her. This is the warehouse, right? Taka said it had everything we could need, but are you looking for something? You need some help?
Huh?
No, I can take care of it myself.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking, though. So then. And so she wanders off. I wonder what she is looking for. And nothing different for her. So there definitely are scenarios like this where they want you to pay attention, and they've kind of very arbitrarily broken it up so that scenarios like this probably will only happen during the nighttime instead of happening during the free time in the mornings. And they're kind of just ignoring the existence of the afternoon. I just wanted to get something to eat, and now I'm about to get roped into something like this. Actually, no, I guess I'm already roped in.
Listen to me.
Hey Makoto, perfect timing. Oh, what's going on?
Hey, damn it.
I have a favor to ask. Favor. I have a bad feeling about this. Hey. And we are now at a point where, like, clicking on these just don't make any sense for this chapter. we are not needing to click on any of this. We're not going to get any nice coins. Okay, who do we want to talk to first then? Kiyotaka or Mondo? Doesn't matter who we talk to? You came just at the right time. I must ask for your full cooperation. That's all he has to say, so he's the one that's really going to talk to us. Come on, Makoto. You've got to be our witness. React mode? We got to react to everything, don't we? Witness to what? This guy's been talking poop about me since day one. Calling me a coward and poop like that.
You're corrupt.
You are a coward, and that's why you turn to violence to solve your problems. That's why you can't do what society asks of you while you're walking around dressed like that.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a little surprising that, like, Taka, who is clearly the straight A student and obsessed with following rules, would have problems with Mondo, who clearly is a anti-establishment biker gang guy, I guess might be the best way to describe him. If you say, you don't know poop.
You hear me?
You already lost to yourself, but you're such a coward you don't even realize it.
Damn you.
So what you're saying is you're not a coward, and you think you're tougher than me?
Count on it.
I know I am.
You wanna fight?
Okay, then let's throw down. Prove you've got what I don't got.
You hear me?
I accept your challenge.
What?
So that's what's happening. Makoto, you gotta be our witness. You're gonna throw down? You're gonna, like, start punching each other, aren't you?
Hey.
There's a bathhouse on the first floor of the dorm with a sauna inside, right?
I see.
I see. A simple endurance contest it is. Well, it seems like we're gonna have a comedic endurance contest here where we're gonna see two guys in a steam room.
Got it.
We're gonna see who can stay in the sauna the longest. Am I right?
Piece of shit.
Straight. Well, I was not expecting that for sure. Are you guys really gonna go through with this? It would be kind of weird too if the sauna was set to a specifically high temperature for school. There is definitely dangers of saunas being really, really hot and people passing out and potentially even dying in the sauna. So you have to be kind of careful with it, but yeah, I'd imagine the temperature should be less than blood boiling for a school. But then again, Monokuma set up this whole school, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were all kinds of death traps all over the place. Are you guys really gonna go through with this?
Stop fucking around.
Yeah, poop. Or I could also see somebody like messing with the temperature of the sauna and killing two people in one go. If that was the case, well, that would be very, very surprising because I don't think that's how this chapter goes. But that they definitely are implying that might be the way this goes. This also would be kind of a great way for Makoto to potentially kill two people. You don't have to just kill one, kill two people, and then potentially get away with it. Boop, yeah. He'll be done in a matter of minutes anyway. People like him, without exception, all talk.
You wanna throw down?
Bring it on. They didn't bother here to animate them like in swimwear or naked, which they would probably be at that point in this room. It would have made more sense to have this conversation in the room previous. Now let's make things interesting. Wouldn't want to win without a challenge, right? Interesting.
You son of a bitch.
We're gonna battle with all our clothes on. Alright, well that saves the animator some effort.
Ridiculous.
That's idiotic, suicidal.
You wanna fight?
What, you afraid? You're gonna regret this.
Stop fucking around.
Shut up and let's do this. Man, every single key phrase there needed to be rethought for just how many times Mondo is gonna cuss.
Hey, Mondo.
So we do get a custom image here, and he's got a towel hanging off his ridiculous hair, and then Taka here is naked, whereas Mondo is in his full clothes. Taka also quite the beefcake. We'll go back to that line of thought. Man, that is very muscular. For remember, high school student. Yeah.
What asshole?
Let's see.
Take off your uniform, you know? Go ahead. I won't judge.
And
And you can shut the fuck up and mind your own business.
we're back to
I mean, look at you.
fully voiced, which seems kind of ridiculous. This is the part that's fully voiced. You would almost want the hanging out with people to be fully voiced way more.
Your face is all red. What are you, one of those goddamn hot spring monkeys?
Oh yeah, in Japan, monkeys have learned to sneak into the hot springs and enjoy it themselves. But also, I guess a lot of the mountain hot springs in Japan are based off natural hot springs, so the monkeys would have learned over generations and over time to jump in the hot springs, regardless of whether or not somebody had built a wall around the hot spring or anyways.
Just so happens, I was born with a red face. You don't have to act all big, man.
I don't know what a Japanese person would do if they were in a hot spring in the mountains and a monkey came down a wall and jumped in the hot spring. Probably not do much. They might run in fear. In general, as small as a regardless of the size of a monkey, you should probably run in fear, or stay very still. I don't know if it's like bears. Do you play dead or do you run in fear or what? But yeah, there's been some pretty nasty monkeys out there that will attack you with claws that you may forget they have, that are pretty small, and then there's big old gorillas that could easily snap you in half, whether they intend to hurt you or not.
Act, you say?
I'm not getting very far in this story.
I'm still plenty good to go. I'm so good, I could eat a steaming hot bowl of soup right now.
Are they okay? I tried to push my concern aside. A few minutes passed. Then a few dozen minutes. That seems a little too much. I'd say 20 minutes in a steam room is probably about right. If you're talking 40 minutes or more, that seems like that's too long. And yeah, they definitely aren't addressing like whether this is a co-ed like bathhouse or whether there are specific times in which it's for girls versus boys. It would be unfair if it was just for boys only. But then also, I guess by not addressing it, they're skirting around the fact that they spent so much time talking about how boys get the tool kits and girls get the sewing kits in the first chapter, and they had to overemphasize that quite a bit because it became part of the reveal later on. Then an hour.
Don't you think it's about time you gave up?
Well, at least they're not punching each other.
What about you? You can't even hardly talk.
It's a little surprising Monokuma hasn't shown up anywhere so far.
Say whatever you want. I'm still totally good to go. In fact, I'm starting to feel kind of cold.
Well, there is this paradoxical event if you're freezing to death that you start to feel hot. I don't know if there's an opposite effect if you're starting to boil to death that you start to feel cold.
That's probably not good.
But yeah, Mondo said it. Hey, guys, I know you want to prove how big you of badasses you are, but don't you think you've done enough? Shut up. I just can't win. Now, the bathhouses don't close. Only the dining room closes. Ding dong bing bong. So they're getting the time.
This is a school announcement. It is now 10 p.m. As such, it is officially nighttime. Soon the doors to the dining hall will be locked, and entry at that point is strictly prohibited. Okay then. Sweet dreams, everyone. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bug bite.
So they're just gonna end up tying. Hey guys, did you hear that? It's nighttime. How about we call it a tie?
In a true competition, there's no such thing as a tie. You win or you lose. That's the only thing that matters.
Listen to you, you son of a bitch. Then bring it on. I'll push you right up to the gates of hell.
The gates of hell. That's not a good place to push someone. This isn't good, guys. You hear him? Better crawling back to your room. I'll let you know how it went in the morning. Then you can start spreading my legend. Come tomorrow morning. You'll fall down in front of me, down on your knees. I'll show you where to do it. Man, this is crazy if they're gonna end up staying here all night in this steam room. Big talk for someone whose face is about to explode. Right back at you. Okay, well, good night, guys. G apostrophe night is a weird way to localize that because I don't feel like... Maybe there is a phrase that means good night in Japanese that's different than saying good night. That's a shortened version. That'd be weird for Japanese. They tend not to really have shortened versions of words that would get localized. They do shorten the versions of words by just saying parts of words and implying it. Like arigato gozaimasu, thank you very much for the meal, often might just be shortened amongst friends to gozaimasu instead of the whole arigato in front of it. Really hope those two don't overdo it, but I'm sure to the death. No, surely they wouldn't go that far. ... It would be funny if they did end up dying. Also, if they can stay in the bathhouse, then they obviously have a source of water now. So, and we've seen cups come into play, so it wouldn't be hard for someone to have at least a cup of water if they need to wash away any blood after murdering anyone. So, because they could get the water from the bathhouse or the kitchen even. Yeah. So anybody who wants to plan on murdering somebody should probably start collecting cups of water. The concern stayed with me as I slowly succumbed to sleep. Went back to Monokuma Theater again. Man, this is going slowly. Here we have a pin-up calendar in the background that's waving. Everything animates a little bit now. If fate doesn't exist, or fate does exist, does that mean your future is decided the moment you're born? If all your yesterdays pile up to create your tomorrow, is your future as final as your past? I just don't know.
That's why I'm still alive, because I don't know. That's why I desperately cling to life.
Yeah. I'm still not sure what this is all about. Whether this is supposed to be describing Monokuma, or whether this is supposed to be describing different people each night, or if this is supposed to be describing some person that we don't know, or Makoto. And if we just have like 2 more free times, we'll go with Chihiro as long as we can, but it's getting very repetitive. That's a very boring way to play. Certainly to focus on one character only.
Good morning, everyone. It is now 7 a.m. and nighttime is officially over.
And it certainly
Rise
sucks
and
to think that we may be somewhere around 15, 16 hours into a game like this and realize at that point and only that point that we played it poorly and we need to go back and play the game from the beginning. And I think ideally you would probably be better off just moving forward and seeing one playthrough all the way through, and then reevaluating whether you think Danganronpa as a game as on the whole is worth playing a second time if it turns out that we don't get the perfect path. Most visual novels do have like a golden path or perfect path, and unless you're using a walkthrough, you're almost guaranteed you're not going to get it. That is, I think, a flaw to visual novels that needs to be addressed if you are going to get Western audiences more interested in it. And frankly, you're going to probably start to see a drop off of even Eastern audiences having the time and the conviction to stick with a visual novel, to play it multiple times to figure out the right path. There might be a bit more of a social connection there too, where people play the same visual novels and talk to each other so they know what the right path is without looking it up online through a walkthrough.
Get ready to greet another
Let's see. We still got about 10 minutes. Morning, huh? Hope Mondo and Taka survived. Worried about the two of them, I hurried into the dining hall more quickly than usual, and when I entered... Bruh, what are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about, bro? What the...
Yo.
Hey, Makoto. Thank you for so much for acting as our witness yesterday. Huh? Are they friends now? They've been like this all morning. They were all buddy-buddy as soon as we walked in. It feels gross.
What?
Feels gross? Hell no. Feels great. More like. This is almost feels like sexual harassment somehow. Yeah. I wonder how that was really supposed to be translated. It probably would have been better localized as saying this feels creepy somehow. But get here, bro. A girl like her just doesn't understand our manly bond.
You hear me?
This is definitely parodying some anime stories. Friendship between men is stronger than blood. A woman could never understand.
Ain't that right?
What you just said, bro. That was cool. It's just, I should get a tattoo of it.
Without a doubt.
No, bro, you mustn't. Your body is a temple giving to you by your loving parents. So, who won the contest?
Piece of shit.
Who gives a poop?
Got it.
Yeah, don't ask stupid questions. What matters is we both took part in it together. They're completely different from that's completely different from what you were saying last night. So did these two get brainwashed or replaced by pod people? Or did these two have to come to terms and admit defeat together?
I see.
Friendship between men seems very simplistic. Nothing like what I'm used to with girls. Yeah, for real. See, like that whole section really was just a gag. And do we really need gags in a game that is about murder mysteries? Not really. Like, that just seems out of place and awkward. It doesn't feel like it's lowering the tension much. We pretty well could still assume we are very close to a murder. And then the tension will rise again. All throughout the breakfast that morning, the room was dominated by Mondo and Taka's overpowering brotherhood. All in all, it was a pretty unfortunate experience. So what should I do today? Ding dong. Okay, good. That would have been a little weird if we had 3 days of free time together. Who could that be? Wondering who had come to visit, I opened the door and saw that someone forced their way in. Interesting. Toko. Would there be any reason to think that maybe there's some more nice coins at this point? I don't think so. I think it's still all just going to be until the next chapter, and pretty much all the Monokuma tokens are going to only come from the score of the trials. So what could Toko want? Well, I guess we'll just have to ask her. Toko, what's the matter?
What's your problem?
Why are you surprised? Am I really that annoying? Remember, I'm not going to repeat the stuttering. Well, I already know I'm annoying. I came here knowing that, so that makes it okay. No, you're not annoying. I just wondered what was going on. I have a favor to ask. I want you to go somewhere with me. Well, I've got to react to everything. If I didn't react to this, I have no idea what the game would do. And I kind of would like to potentially fail one of these and just hit A and not react, but nope, we're gonna react. And where is it you want me to go? You want to go? Well, the library. Huh? Are you looking for a book or something? Why don't you just ask Byakuya? He spends all his time in the library anyway. Did I say something wrong? You're not a blabbermouth, right? This has to be a secret. Honestly, I have no idea what you're talking about, but if you want me to be quiet, I'll be quiet. Then let's go to the library. Okay, I got it. The library. Jeez, why so pushy? Quiet. Be quiet when you go in. Don't let him see you. She actually was starting to get annoying, but I did as she said and gently crept into the library. Unsurprisingly, Byakuya was there by himself, in the same stationary image, reading the same book, absorbed in a book.
He's here. He's really here.
Sounds like Toko might have a crush on Byakuya.
Okay, Makoto, go talk to him.
Either that or she's using me as a distraction.
What? Stop being so loud. Just hurry up and go talk to him.
So either she has a crush and she can't talk to him directly, or she's using you as a distraction, one or the other.
You go talk to him if you want to so bad.
I can't. I don't want to interrupt him.
This is funny that Makoto's getting his own lines voiced. You could have easily never voiced Makoto as a character and voiced everybody else. Or you could have had Makoto voiced in everything he said, but then that would have been a lot of voice acting. That's kind of crazy. Toko is kind of crazy. There's nothing new here, so we will just talk to Byakuya and move the story forward. Interesting, it jumps back to him sitting, so it went from him sitting to standing up to sitting again. He seems to be really focused on that book. It doesn't seem like the best time to talk to him. Now he's back to standing. Hey you, what are you doing back here? I hate even having to look at you. Ah, so you noticed me, huh?
Naturally.
Of course, now hurry up and leave. And take her with you. ... Hey, Byakuya. ... Remember how you said, don't be a woman who dominates weak man, be a woman dominated by a strong man? When did he say this? I don't remember hearing this. Was this some dialogue I missed? Well, apparently Toko wants to be a woman dominated by a strong man. I never said that. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Well, actually, I just thought it might like something. It sounded like something you might say. Get out and take a bath. You smell. And go take a bath. You smell. Don't make me say it again. Now go before your stench latches onto the entire room. Okay. So apparently she wants to be dominated, so she's a masochist, or just perhaps a little crazy. Let's take a brief moment to point out something. One thing about sadism and masochism that I think is misimplemented and misunderstood is the idea of taking a sadomasochist relationship into the entirety of your life. That's just not how society works, and it's just not a good idea. If you're gonna be a masochist in the bedroom and let your significant other dominate you, that's fine. If you're gonna be a sadist in the bedroom and you're going to inflict pain, and I guess I am also overlapping sadism and masochism here, which is the sadism is the desire to inflict pain on others. Masochism is to experience pain to a realistic level. You shouldn't take it to an extreme level where you're literally slicing your jugular or strangling yourself with a belt and dying. But yeah, being dominated and or wanting to be dominated is probably a better phrase to use in this situation at this point. It's fine in the bedroom and in interpersonal relationships. It does not work in reality in your entire life. You have to be partners, equal partners in the rest of your life. Otherwise, you're just not going to have a good relationship. You're not going to be a self-actualized, empowered person if you don't. And a lot of people make that mistake, and then their kinks in the bedroom start spilling over into their entire life, and before you know it, you're spending your entire life acting on those kinks to the point where you're walking down a public park or in a grocery store, interacting your kinks, which is just not the appropriate place and timing and time to do that kind of thing. So it would be difficult, certainly for Toko, to enter this relationship she seems to want to have with Byakuya in general, because Byakuya probably doesn't really care one way or the other. But it would be difficult for her to initiate that, obviously, as we're seeing, but it would also be potentially dangerous for Toko to initiate this relationship, because this isn't a situation that's going to end up, obviously, we can tell from the beginning, with Byakuya and Toko deeply appreciating each other and playing their little dominance games to entertain each other, for lack of a better phrase. This is going to immediately turn into the realm of abuse, where Toko is effectively asking Byakuya to abuse her and use her, and just even like yelling at her and saying she stinks and stuff is just abusive. And that's all we've seen from Byakuya in the way he reacts and treats anyone, because he's arrogant, sociopath more than anything else. And yeah, I don't think there's any way Byakuya is actually going to have or be able to develop a real appreciation for Toko until he appreciates the value of people in general. Particularly in this murder game, he's probably not going to do that. And we kind of even see how Byakuya's already in part influenced Toko's actions, in that she left the group just following after him, so she clearly has some kind of crush that she can't just admit or implement without intertwining it with her desire to be dominated, which is probably not a super healthy desire to play with as a high school student, for sure. Like, it's a little too kinky, frankly, for a high school student. What this probably implies is that Byakuya, as a kid, was allowed to do anything and treat anyone like dirt, and Toko potentially was like dominated and abused by somebody in her family, an older brother or father or mother, something like that. If you were the deep dig deeper into it, but I'm not sure they will. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just they needed Toko to be crazier and Byakuya to be more of a jerk, so they take it this direction. Moving on. ... He really dug into us there. Maybe he's in a bad mood. ... She seems super depressed. Did he really upset her that much? Byakuya, to go that far. What's funny is, alright, that's Toko saying that. To go that far. He must be really concerned about me. Yep, she's crazy, for lack of a better diagnosis. Huh? He told me to take a bath and everything. He must really care about my well-being. ... Hey Makoto, what do you think? Think about what? Do you think Byakuya and I would be good together? Well now, I don't really know. The answer to that is no. That's true. There's really no way to know. But the distance between us doesn't change our love. Because as soon as you realize your feelings, your love is born, and that's how love works. What was Toko's ultimate? Is she the ultimate romance writing prodigy? Yes. I kind of had forgotten about that. Like, it does explain a little bit, but yeah. She's much more of a crazy character that the ultimate writing prodigy part hasn't even come up. Okay. There might come a day when you understand. Maybe someday. Well, bye. ... Monokuma finally showing up. Ah, young love. Ooh-wah. That, I feel like that should have been translated to something different. Ooh-wah is not English by any means as a sound effect. Who would have ever guessed she would go for someone like him? So, but eager passion can also be scary. Sometimes that leads people off in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's a good thing they voice acted some of these sound effects, otherwise I wouldn't know what he's saying. ... All of a sudden I feel exhausted. Maybe I'll head back to my room for now. And it is so ridiculous that we have to get thrown back into a room. There's still some time left in the day. What to do? And that sound effect on the free time is a little weird also. Okay. So Toko's just back in her room. If she was actually the bae, since he told her, she would have had to do it at pretty much the bathhouse, because there's only showers in, well, in at least Makoto's room there's only a shower. Maybe there are bathtubs in the girls' bathrooms. And he said take a bath, which you could interpret that, I guess, as maybe shower also. And I guess what I want to just generally do is cycle between all of this and see if we see anything, and it seems like the answer to that is no. So then we'll just teleport here, and she's in the warehouse, so we'll once again interact with Chihiro. Is there anything we missed here last time? I don't think so. So I'm not gonna bother to click on anything. I wonder how that teddy bear actually operates. Could it be a robot with an AI installed in it? No, we don't have that technology yet. Maybe it's some kind of bear-shaped cyborg from the future. Should I hang out with Chihiro for a while? Yes. You want to sit down and talk for a while? That's a weird prompt because we see very little chairs in most of the rooms. But maybe they just mean sitting on the floor. But then again, I wouldn't think the Japanese would sit on the floor. I spent some time talking with Chihiro. Chihiro and I grew a little closer today. Would you like to give her a present? Yes, definitely. Alright. So we know we can double up on presents if we have something that we know works. So I guess the question would be, do we have something that works? I feel like if you were specifically to try and give the Skull Crest or the Despair Bat, that specifically would be an obvious wrong answer. Voice changing bow tie. Let's try that. Let's see. Originally belonged to a detective whose body had the body of a child, but the mind of a genius. The bow tie lets the user speak in a variety of voices. Once again, this is a reference to the long-running Detective Conan anime. Maybe it's a manga too.
Huh?
I can have this? Thank you. This has made me feel a little better. Does that mean she liked it? If you don't hate the idea, would you like to talk some more? Geez, if there's anyone who can say no to someone who asks like that, I'd like to meet them. Interesting, so we're gonna have more conversation. And we do now know we could give the voice changing bow tie to her. We've got 2 more of those. Sure, I'd love to learn more about you. Okay, but what do you want to know? Let's see, what kind of program are you working on now? I bet it's pretty amazing.
You know?
Oh, actually, I just started the research process for something. Remember the database I told you about? I'm retooling it into something a little more complex. I signed an NDA with a company that hired me, so I really can't go into the details. So she's already working for a company where, like, the ultimate baseball star, I would assume, would, well, maybe in Japan, high school baseball students could be paid to be baseball stars too. Like in the United States, a lot of those athletes work for free. It's a crazy scheme. There are definitely rules in most Japanese schools against working side jobs, but they are poorly enforced, and most students will work temporary side jobs to make pocket money. I don't think too many of them work very hard to make an entire career out of it, but I imagine the pop stars and such probably do work very hard full-time jobs, so there's a little bit of everything in that. If anything, in the United States, I imagine the percentage is much lower as far as students that are actually working jobs in high school. Real jobs with real careers versus like maybe working at a fast food restaurant or something. Yeah, they probably wouldn't want the wrong people to hear about it, huh?
I'm sorry.
It's not that I don't trust you or anything, it's just I made a promise, you know. Sorry. No, it's okay, it's my fault for asking about something you couldn't talk about. Oh, but maybe I can give you a little hint. It has to do with simulating human thoughts. She said it had to do with simulating human thoughts, right? Which means virtual reality, robotics, artificial intelligence. But now we're to artificial intelligence. You're developing some kind of artificial intelligence, aren't you? This is weird that this is actually a gameplay mechanic. Ah, you figured it out. Was my hint too easy?
What should I do?
What am I gonna do? If they find out I broke my promise, they might. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say anything to anyone. Yeah, I know I can trust you. Okay, I guess I can tell you all about it.
You know?
I'm working on a type of artificial intelligence the world has never seen before. It's what we call a strong AI. It's designed to think like a human. Well, then why is it called a strong AI? That's a contradiction in my book. To process any mental task we can. A strong AI. You see, in the field of artificial intelligence, there are strong AIs and weak AIs. Weak AI isn't meant to match human intelligence. It's a simple type of problem-solving software. Weak AI isn't actually thinking, it's just executing actions programmed into it. Strong AI, on the other hand, is a program that can achieve true self-consciousness, full ego awareness. This is some gibberish, for sure. The problem with trying to make a distinction between a strong AI and a weak AI in programming is the fact that we really don't even have a way of quantifying and measuring how or why a human brain works. So using that as the meter stick to measure whether a program is approaching human levels of consciousness or problem solving ability is kind of impossible, pointless, kind of silly. On top of that, like, we have no way of really programming computers to act anything in the way that human brains work. Almost every computer that exists in the world today is a binary system just running a limited set of instructions and code. And even if you can make that code incredibly complicated, it's still not capable of particularly acting the way a human would act or a human brain would act. But whatever, the story obviously wants to go in this direction, and we're going into kind of a sci-fi element. A strong eye is a complete entity, a computer program of becoming aware. Okay. But it's always just been a hypothesis. Plenty of experts don't think it's even possible. It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. And you're working on something like that?
But...
Well, I said right now I'm just researching it. I've made a lot of progress on the programming side and the intelligence development. But when it came to actual awareness, it's still a long way off. It might even be impossible. Really?
You know?
I'm not sure how to put it, but no matter how well designed or complex a program is, no matter how closely the software can simulate the workings of a human brain, I don't think that's enough. If a program is only simulating thoughts, it will always be lacking something. Lacking?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could say a soul. Interesting, she's blushing for that part. If you could somehow pour your own soul into the software, then maybe a strong AI could be created. Wait, a soul? Yeah, I know. It's not a programming term. I'm not even sure how that would work on a technical level. Sorry, forget it, I mentioned.
You know?
Anyway, all I have right now is the theory. There's still a lot of research left to do. But if she does figure out a way to put a soul into a program, that might have some impacts as to explaining what's going on with Monokuma. Artificial intelligence sounds pretty tough, like a pretty tough subject, but I'm glad to hear about it. One of the things to take from this, though, is definitely the scenario that there are multiple students who will send you through multiple paths and multiple red herrings of the story. The nonary games, Virtue's Last Reward, for instance, went very much down that route, and many branching paths implied many different conspiracies and explanations to things, and a lot of the things that were brought up actually did end up playing a role in the solution, but a lot of things also were kind of just red herrings. So I wouldn't be surprised if this strong AI path really it doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the game at all. Waste your time on another boring topic. I must have bored you to death, huh? No, the complete opposite. It was really interesting.
Huh?
You mean it?
Yay!
Okay, next time we talk, I want to hear about you. Oh, well, unlike you, I really am boring. No excuses. It's your turn next time. Okay. Yeah. When she says it like that, I think the only way to refuse is to make is if you make one of those soulless AI programs she mentioned. So, report card has been updated based on your experience with her. Your maximum number of skill points has increased. Hey, look at you go. But we don't really need skill points. So I kind of want to go a little long here. We've already gone 2 hours. But I guess maybe not. This is probably a perfect time to not go long. We still don't have a star here for her. And we are getting just more story now. So, like, we're at a weird point. We're definitely at a weird point with how this breaks down, because the maximum number of times we could have talked to Sayaka would have been 3 times. I talked to her twice. On the first time I talked to her, I got Melodia's voice. Second time I got maximum SP. I assume there would have been a 4th page. So if I had talked to her the 3rd time. For Chihiro, I've had much more opportunities to talk to her and just focus on her completely. And yet, it is possible that I could have been up to the 7th time, or the 7th page at this point, and still not have that gold star. Or maybe we just don't get gold stars for everybody. But then why introduce the whole gold star element? And then why make it look this way? Like, if it was just 1 gold star per person, why not put the gold star in the middle? Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Clearly, there's enough room there for a 2nd gold star. And clearly, some characters you have to interact with a lot more than others. And very possibly, I may just have to stick down the path of Chihiro, and that may end up losing me some skills at some point. And the one thing I haven't done since starting this whole game, because it's not typically something I do, is just exit to the main menu and see if there is like a chapter select or a difficulty change that could occur. Yeah, so for 2 hours, that's kind of not a lot accomplished. And it is very linear accomplishment too. Had we not simply had the fight between not Byakuya and Toko, yeah, had we not seen the Byakuya and Toko scene, which we were kind of forced to do, and seen the fight between Mondo and Taka, which we were kind of forced to do, we literally would have spent this whole 2 hour just following Chihiro, which means we could have spent most of this 2 hours just spending free time with anybody and completely ignoring the scenes and the hints that we're supposed to be collecting for the next murder mystery. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.